Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining me. It's Autism Awareness Month, and one of the sticking features of autism is the impairment of social disorder. SASI New York is one of the organizations that provides an environment for families and children to improve on that social disorder. But because of the coronavirus pandemic, that environment, like many other special needs schools, is now in jeopardy. Meet the owner of SASI New York, whose determination to reconnect those families and those children cannot be stopped.
Who helped you, Miss Irene?
Yeah.
Since schools and child care programs closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, nonprofits for people and children on the autism spectrum have been grappling for financial support to stay open.
A lot of those businesses that supported us prior or other organizations aren't even in business anymore. Even the big guys. So now what are you going to do?
Priscilla is the founder of SASI, or Specialized Autism Support and Information, the Long Island, New York single mother of two, whose child Johnny is on the autism spectrum, created SASI in 2015 as a support base for families who were affected with autism. The organization has experienced rapid growth since 2015. Before the coronavirus pandemic, it served over 5,000 families.
Unfortunately, that's not including the thousands that we turn away, usually from other states or countries, because the advice and resources are local.
With gathering restrictions in place during the pandemic, the burden on children with autism has been significant. Children require a team of specialists, speech and language coaches, and more importantly, social interaction.
For us, it was such a vital thing. You have to realize that before SASI came along, we were all sitting home by ourselves. Our kids weren't invited to birthday parties. We weren't invited on play dates. We didn't have this couple with their kids and us with our kids. All that doesn't really exist for the most part within our community. So we were already isolated. Then we found each other. And now we've become isolated again.
Arena recently moved SASI to a more accessible location in the middle of Long Island, but the fundraising has been nearly non-existent. Coronavirus aid relief and economic security, or termed the CARES Act, has kept the doors open to nonprofits for special needs. Arena says that for families in need of services for their loved ones, the method is simple.
I want our community to help each other more. And that's kind of where SASI comes in as well. There's a lot of education and knowledge is power for our parents, besides finding a community that they feel embraced, et cetera, et cetera. And basically, I'm on a mission to change the landscape for the future of not only my son, but everybody in the community.
Arena says that SASI New York has been holding Zoom meetings since last year. You can find more information and where to donate on her website at sasinewyork.org. 1 in 54 children, that's the latest numbers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, for children diagnosed on the autism spectrum. But according to the CDC, there's a problematic trend where children of color are being diagnosed less. Now, is that a lack of awareness from families of color and minorities when it comes to recognizing symptoms on the autism spectrum? Well, meet a mom who's out to buck that trend for minority mothers with children on the autism spectrum. When Montoya learned that her son Trey had autism, she didn't know where to turn.
It was kind of disheartening because I never didn't have any peers, didn't have any friends, family, or anybody that had experienced this.
When she finally did find the resources, it was, in her words, nothing that she could culturally connect with. Children on the autism spectrum, on average, are diagnosed before the age of 4. Trey wasn't diagnosed until he was well into the first grade.
I can't say why that is. There is a lot of disparities when it comes to the African American community and other races, health-wise in general.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Black and Hispanic children are less likely to be diagnosed and identified with autism than white children.
I don't know why that is happening to just our community, because in other communities, they're getting diagnosed early, they're getting those early interventions, which statistically says that those children are more likely to be successful because of those early interventions.
Rogers then set out to be the #1 advocate in her son's life and to assist other minority mothers with children on the autism spectrum. She created Puzzle Mom, a nonprofit organization that connects minority mothers to support groups and community resources.
I wanted to bring awareness to our community. I wanted to let our community know that there's others like us, that we can band together. We can create support. Like I said, I wanted to empower women to be effective advocates for their children. I think so many times in our community, we get these diagnoses and we may feel ashamed as parents. We may feel guilty. We may feel, what did I do wrong? Parenting is hard, regardless if you have a child that is on the spectrum or not. So the saying goes, it takes a village. And I wanted to create that village.
As for Trey, through his mother's drive, he is well on his way to making significant strides.
You're going to need people who are willing to come in, support, and not just you, but your child, to ensure that they're successful. And that's what Trey has around him. And I credit that to why he's made the progress that he's made.
Rogers says that Trey is now in general education classes, and he recently tested as a gifted student, all she says, after he could not communicate up until the 1st grade. She's looking to improve the education and awareness for minority families and mothers who need the help that she received. Log on to puzzlemom.org for more information.